Have any of you noticed that AI is starting to seep into every aspect of our daily lives? And I don't think it's helping in as much of a way as these corporations are liking to spout every few weeks about how AI is going to replace a large portion of white collar jobs. Yes, there are administration tasks that it clearly helps, like reviewing documents or helping give a generic first step to a project or an idea. But I'm seeing more and more that it is making people dumber than actually doing what it's promised. AI has made it so people who already had a decent amount of self confidence in themselves turbocharge this. With a few prompts, they can spin up a go to market plan for a new idea and feel on top of the world. AI is like giving these people a genie that will grant them any wish they desire and tell it in a way that makes them feel like it's them coming up with these ideas on their own. They're not. What Claude or ChatGPT is doing is giving an algorithmic response with one goal in mind. It's to keep you attached to the tool to feed it more data so that these companies can use that to train their models on. This is especially true when it's a user's first time prompting something. You have a simple idea like a new product you want to manufacture. If you type in a few sentences about what you want, AI will spit out a 10-page report about the strategy and know-how to find a supplier, which markets to target, and steps to get started. If this is the first time seeing something like this, it feels amazing. Holy crap, this is it. That dream of mine of starting a new business is right in front of me. But if you've spent enough time with it, you'll quickly realize that it's nothing more than a generic guide to starting something. Yes, some of the steps are correct, but it removes the friction that someone launching something needs to learn. Going off of something like this is like someone following a WikiHow article of how to find a girlfriend to a T. It's not going to get you far, but what it did do is it made you feel like you could do it. And that's where AI is slowly making all of us dumber. And this isn't just happening with everyday people. One of the wildest examples of AI overconfidence happened recently with the CEO of Krafton, the company behind PUBG. They bought the studio that made Subnautica for $500 million, and they agreed to pay another $250 million if Subnautica 2 hit certain sales number. It was a pretty standard deal in gaming. Well, turns out their own internal numbers showed that the game was going to crush those targets. So now the CEO is looking at a $250 million check he does not want to write. And what does he do? Does he go to his legal team? He actually did. And they told him there is no clear way without getting sued. Did he listen? No. He opened up ChatGPT. He asked it how to get out of the deal. ChatGPT told him it would be difficult to cancel. So he kept prompting, kept pushing, and eventually it spit out this whole corporate takeover strategy. Internally, he called it Project X. Take control of the studio, fire the founders, lock them out of their own publishing platform, replace the board. His own people were telling him on Slack that this was a bad idea. You're going to get sued. This doesn't even eliminate the payout obligation. He ignored all of it and followed the ChatGPT plan step by step. He even had ChatGPT draft a public statement to try to win over Subnautica fan base, which it backfired immediately. A Delaware judge reversed everything. The fired CEO got reinstated. The earning deadline got extended. And it came out in court that Kim deleted specific ChatGPT conversations related to the firing. So this guy actually had a team of lawyers, actual corporate development people, actual human beings with expertise telling him what the situation was. He didn't like the answer, so he went to ChatGPT until it gave him one that he preferred. That's the overconfidence problem at its core. AI didn't make this guy smarter. It just gave him a way to feel justified into doing something very stupid. More and more, we are turning to AI for everything. Instead of reading something complex and thinking about it, we throw the text into AI and ask for a summary. And by doing this, we lose the benefits of actually working through the problem. We don't truly learn any of the substance that we threw in. What we did was take a shortcut to an answer without the benefit of retaining the information for later. When was the last time that you watched TikTok for a few hours and remembered anything that you saw the previous day. Without deep immersion on a subject, we lose the capability to fully understand what we are trying to learn or observe. I have seen it at work in meetings where other managers are sharing their department's last quarter results, and the entire presentation is generated by AI with some basic thoughts and future steps for improvement. And the output looks almost entirely one-shotted with minimal edits to the presentation. And think about Google Maps for a second. When's the last time you drove somewhere new without it? I'm not talking about going to work or the grocery store. I mean actually navigating somewhere you haven't been before using just your sense of direction. Most of us can't do it anymore. I've lived in cities for years and I couldn't tell you which direction I was going, which is north half the time. And the thing is, we used to be able to do this. People drove across entire countries with a paper map folded in their glove box. Now I type in the address to a restaurant that's 15 minutes away because I don't want to think about which turns to take. Nobody really talks about this as a loss because it feels so small. Oh well, I need GPS now, who cares? But that's exactly the pattern that should freak out everybody about AI. Because what happened with navigation is now happening with thinking. We're outsourcing the actual mental work the same way we outsource knowing where we are. You get an email at work that needs a thoughtful response, and instead of sitting with it for a few minutes, you paste it into Claude and ask it to draft a reply. Your kid asks you a question about history, and instead of thinking about what you know, you pull up ChatGPT. You have a disagreement with someone, and instead of processing your own thoughts, you ask AI to help you figure out how you feel about it. Each one of these things feel like not a big deal, just saving a little time. But you're skipping the part where your brain actually does the work. And that's the part that makes you sharper. If you skip it enough times, you'll end up like me, staring at a highway exit with no idea which direction to turn because I haven't had to figure it out myself in years. Look, I'm not sitting here telling you to delete ChatGPT or Claude and going back to using encyclopedias or pulling up a Wikipedia article. AI is here and it's not going anywhere. And I'd be a hypocrite if I said that it was all bad, because I use Claude and ChatGPT sometimes too. There are real use cases where it genuinely helps. Reviewing long documents, getting a first pass on something when you're starting out on a blank page, debugging code. If you already know what you're doing, it can definitely speed things up. But that's the gap. The promise was that AI was going to free us up to do more important work, more creative thinking, strategy, more of the stuff that actually matters to us. And instead, what happened is most people just stopped doing the work altogether. The time we saved didn't go towards anything meaningful. It went towards being lazy about the next thing as well. We were told that this was going to make the average worker more capable, that it would level the playing field. But what I'm watching happen in real time is the opposite. The people who already had the skill are using it as a tool. The people who didn't are using it as a replacement for developing anything. And nobody seems to be worried about what that looks like in 5 or 10 years from now. And if you think that we'll correct course on this and get better, just look at how we handled every other piece of technology. Social media was going to connect us, and instead, it made us more isolated and anxious. Smartphones were going to make us more productive, and instead, we averaged 5 to 7 hours of screen time every single day. Streaming was supposed to give us access to the best content ever and made it more affordable. And most of us just rewatch the same shows while scrolling on our phones. We don't have a great track record using technology in moderation. We optimize for convenience every single time. And AI is one of the most convenient tools ever built. So yeah, I think we're in a rough road ahead. Not really because AI is evil or useless, but because we're human. And when you give humans a shortcut, they take it every single time. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.